Okay, so this question is question 9. We've got a graph showing average savings. So S is the savings and T is the time. So you can see that over time the savings go up and then they come down and then they go back up. So we have to write down one feature which suggests this will be a cubic function. And the thing with cubic functions, that cubic functions always have to have a maximum, one maximum and one minimum point. So it has one maximum and one minimum. So that makes it a cubic function, okay? We can see there is a maximum point here and a minimum point here, okay? So that's the feature that suggests it is a cubic function. The next thing is we've got an equation which can, of the model, which is given by this. So I'm going to write that down. So S is equal to AT cubed plus BT squared plus CT plus D. And it says A, B, C, and D are constants. So that just means they're numbers, okay? And we're told that the graph must pass through these points. So what we have to do is work out the value of D, okay? Well, it says write down the value of D. So if anything says write down the value, then that means it must be fairly straightforward. So we're going to get our value of D if we substitute this value of T into our equation. Okay, so if I put in 0 into all of this, so I'll just rewrite that. So I'm going to put, so when T is equal to 0, we know that S is equal to -5. So we're going to substitute these in. So I get -5 is equal to A times 0 cubed plus B times 0 squared plus C times 0 plus D. So we've got the -5 on this side, and then we know that anything multiplied by 0 is always 0. So we're left with D is equal to -5. Then the next part, we have to write down 3 simultaneous equations for A, B, and C. So we're going to do exactly the same, but just with the other points. So I'm going to take this point now. So T is 1 and S is 3. So I've got S is 3. So I've got A times 1 cubed plus B times 1 squared plus C times 1. And I've already worked out that D is -5. So take away 5. So we can tidy this up. 1 cubed is just 1. So that's 1A. 1 squared is 1. So that's just 1B plus C minus 5. And what I'll do is I'll take my -5 to the other side. Now if I take it over, I have to add 5 to both sides. So 5 plus 3 is 8. A plus B plus C. So that's my first equation. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with, I'll just put it in a different color now with this one. So we've got S is -1 and T is now 2. So A times 2 cubed plus B times 2 squared plus C times 2. And then again my -5. So 2 cubed, we can just put that in the calculator, it's going to give me 8. 2 squared is going to give me 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Then I've got plus 2c, and then the -5, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring my -5 over by adding 5 to both sides. So -1 plus 5 is 4. So I get 8a plus 4b plus 2c. So that's my second equation. And then we do the same thing again with the last one. So I'll do it in a different color again. So we've got -5. You can kind of go through the working here, but it's going to be 2 times 3 cubed. The 3 cubed is 27. So 27a plus b times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. Plus 3 times c. And then I've got my plus d. And we'll do the same thing. We'll move our 5 over, our -5. So when I move my -5 over, it becomes +5. So I get 0 equals 27a plus 9b plus 2c. And that's my third equation. So that's this part. And, oops, sorry, no, that's this part. Then the third part, hence or otherwise, find the values of a, b, and c. So we're just going to do this on the calculator. Okay, so on the calc, we're going to go to matrix. So matrix is the one in blue. So second matrix. And we're going to go across to edit. And we just hit enter. And then we have to have a 3 by 4 matrix. Now the way that this works is, we're going to put in our numbers, okay? So the first number corresponds to the number in front of the A here, which is A1. We're going to hit enter. Then the next number is the number in front of the B in this equation, which is also a 1. And then the next number is the number in front of the C, which is a 1. And then there's another number that we have to put in, which is the 8. So for the first line of the matrix, it's just 1, 1, 1, 8. And for the next line, we're going to do the same thing, but with the green equation. We're going to put in the first number in front of the A, which is an 8. Then the number in front of B, which is 4. Then the number in front of the C, which is a 2. And then the number by itself on the other side, which is a 4. Enter again. And then we do the same for the last equation. So 27, 9, 2, and 0. Okay, now when we've got all of those things in, we go back to matrix. And we want to go to math. And what we want is, we're going to scroll down. And we want RREF. Okay, and we hit that, and oops, my bad, I don't want that. Let's go back. Okay, so we go back to this screen, so our normal screen, and then we do that. Okay, so back to matrix, to math, and then RREF, and then we have to put in the matrix that we used, so we go back into matrix, and we want this one, so we just click enter, close the bracket, and it will give us this. Now I'll copy this, and I'll put this in. This gives us our answers for A, B, and C. Okay, and I've just realized that I put in one of the numbers, so it should be, yeah, so I just transcribed something wrong. So this is 3C. This, of course, then has to be 3C, so silly mistake. But let's bring it back up. So it was 27, 9, and 3. Okay, and then 0. So we go back out, I'll do that same thing again. So second, and bring up the matrix. We want to go to math, down to RREF, and then put the matrix in. So second, and then enter, hit enter again, and this gives us our answer. So I'll copy this one. Okay, so our A value corresponds to this value, so A is 2. Our B value is -12. This one, so this one is A, this one is B, and this one is C. Okay, so for the last part, so our model, we know what our values are, so we can write down our model for part C. It's S equals, so A times T cubed, so 2T cubed, and the 2 is from here, and plus B times T squared, so it's -12 T squared plus 18T. Okay, so the C value was 18, so that's why it's 18T, and then the D value is -5. And what we need to do is we want to use the model to determine the total time in years for which a graduate is expected to be in debt after graduating from university. So what we have to do is, if they're in debt, so a negative value indicates when they're in debt, so we wanted their debt to be 0, so I have to put this equal to 0, so they've got 0 debt. And what we need to do is work out our T value, and again we can do this on the calculator. So I've got y equals 2x cubed, so I'm going to graph it, minus 12x squared plus 18x minus 5. I have to put x's, can't use t's just in the calculator. And so we graph it. It looks like this. Okay, so here's our equation, and we want when they are not in debt. So let's find out what this point is. So I'm going to go to second calc, and that's where the 0 occurs. So let's scroll close to the point. Okay, just gone past by mistake. So there we are, so it's close to the point that we want. Click afterwards. Okay, and and apologies, I just made a slight mistake putting it in, but here we go. This is what the graph actually looks like if you put this in. Okay, so we want to find out these intersects, so these zeros, okay, where it crosses the x-axis. So we need to find them all. So we go to the left of on the x-axis, to the right. So the first one is 0.358. Okay, so this point corresponds to 0.358. I now need to find this one. And let's bring back the calculator. So second calc. Clear that. Second. Okay, so we go down to 0. I'm going to go over to this point, hit enter, move it slightly to the right, hit enter again, you get 1.83. Then you do the same thing again for this point, and you get 3.81. Okay, so the total length and time in years for which a graduate is expected to be in debt. So they're expected to be in debt here because it's less than 0, and they're expected to be in debt in between here and here. So to find that out, it's going to be, well, 3.81 minus 1.83. That's going to give me this bit, and then we need to add on the 0.358, because that's the bit at the start where they're in debt. So we get 2.34 years. Okay, hopefully that helps. That's quite a long video.